My girlfriend screamed. I lied about the pregnancy. I just left. I 29 male was sitting in my living room in Indianapolis at 7:42 p.m. on a Tuesday when everything I thought I knew about my relationship collapsed. The night had started completely normal. I just finished a late shift at the warehouse, cracked open a cold Dr. Pepper, and sat down on the couch, scrolling through Reddit when Ashley, my 27-year-old girlfriend of 2 years, came storming out of the bedroom with tears in her eyes and her phone in her hand. She was pacing, muttering something under her breath, then suddenly blurted out those exact words. I lied about the pregnancy. I froze. My body went cold, like the blood had drained straight to the floor. I said, "Wait, what did you just say?" She screamed it again, louder this time, her face red, her hair sticking to her forehead. I lied. I was never pregnant. She was shaking. I swear. For a second the room went silent, except for the buzzing of the old ceiling fan. Just 2 weeks earlier, she'd shown me a positive pregnancy test. It was 3:14 p.m. on a Wednesday. I remember because I'd been on my lunch break and she called me sobbing, saying, "Babe, we're having a baby." She sent me a picture of the stick, 2 pink lines clear as day. I rushed home that evening with a bouquet of sunflowers from Kroger and hugged her like my whole life had just changed. I had started reorganizing my budget that week, cutting down on eating out, setting aside $500 already for baby supply. I even scheduled an appointment with HR about switching to the company's family health plan. I told my mom on Sunday after church. She cried, hugged me, and said she couldn't wait to be a grandma. And now, in a span of 10 seconds, it was all a lie. I stood up slowly, trying to control my breathing. "Why, Ashley? Why would you do that?" She was pacing faster, holding her phone tight, avoiding eye contact. "Because you were pulling away. You've been working late, you're tired all the time. I thought you were gonna leave me. I had to do something to keep you here." I just stared at her. "So you thought pretending to be pregnant was the answer?" She shot back. "It worked, didn't it? You started paying attention again. You cared again." My chest tightened. I muttered, "Ashley, that's not love, that's manipulation." She broke down crying, then screamed, "Don't act like you're innocent. I know you've been texting Emily from work." Emily was a coworker. Yes, but our texts were literally about shift swaps and forklift repairs. I unlocked my phone, shoved it toward her, read every message. I got nothing to hide. She glanced for half a second, then slammed it down on the coffee table. "I don't need to see it." Inside my head, alarms were going off. I thought, this isn't just about lying. This is about control. I grabbed the pregnancy test box from the bathroom trash can where she had left it weeks ago. Something had always nagged me. I opened it again, and this time, tucked behind the instructions, was a folded CVS receipt. Date, 3 weeks earlier. Item, pregnancy test, clear blue, digit, paid with cash. Nothing wrong there. But then I saw the timestamp. It was 1:06 p.m. She had texted me the picture of the test at 3:14 p.m. Same day, but the test box she showed me had 2 sticks. She'd only bought 1 digital test. I confronted her. "Ashley, where's the second test? The one you said you took after lunch?" She froze, eyes wide like a deer in headlights. I don't remember." That was enough for me. I sat back down, grabbed my Dr. Pepper, and whispered, "You've been lying from the start." She screamed again. "I had to. You were gonna leave." I shook my head. "Ashley, you made sure I'll never trust you again. That's worse than me leaving." At that moment, my phone buzzed. A text from my sister Rachel. "Mom's making lasagna Friday night. Bring Ashley and the baby news." My stomach dropped. I realized I had to tell everyone the truth now. I stood up, grabbed my car keys. Ashley panicked. "Where are you going?" I said calmly. "Out." She blocked the door. "No, you're not leaving me." I said firmly. "Move." She screamed again. "Fine, leave then. But don't you dare tell your family. This is between us." I pushed past her and walked out to my 2012 Honda Civic, my heart racing. I drove around aimlessly for almost an hour, through Broad Ripple, past the White River, until I parked outside a Speedway gas station. I just sat there, staring at the dashboard clock ticking toward 9:00 p.m., thinking about how my whole life had just flipped upside down. My phone buzzed nonstop, 22 missed calls from Ashley. 12 The messages went from "please come home" to "you'll regret this" to "if you tell anyone, I'll ruin you." That last one made me snap out of shock. I thought, she's escalating. This isn't just lying anymore. This is blackmail. I called my buddy Mark, 31, who works as a paralegal downtown. I told him everything, word for word. He paused, then said, "Man, you need to keep every message. Screenshot everything. Don't delete a single thing. This could get ugly." So I sat in that Speedway parking lot, screenshotting every threatening text, saving them in a Google Drive folder, labeled Ashley Evidence. Then I remembered something else. 2 nights after she told me she was pregnant, she had randomly shown me a sonogram picture on her phone. I hadn't questioned it at the time. I was too overwhelmed, but now I thought, where did that picture come from? I texted her, "Send me the sonogram again." She replied instantly. "Why?" I said, "Just want to save it." 10 minutes later she sent the same photo. I saved it, then used Google Lens. Within seconds, it matched identical stock images on Pinterest, labeled sample ultrasound. My stomach turned again. She had literally Googled a fake sonogram to sell the lie. By the time I pulled back into my apartment complex around 10, my decision was made. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I was just going to leave. I walked inside quietly. Ashley was sitting on the couch, mascara streaked, TV muted. She jumped up. "Where were you?" I calmly said, "Ashley, I know the sonogram is fake. I know everything." She went pale. "Who told you?" I shook my head. "No one had to tell me. You slipped up. You're not good at covering tracks." She stammered. "But I love you." I cut her off. Love doesn't lie about life and death. Love doesn't blackmail. I walked into the bedroom, grabbed a duffel bag, stuffed clothes into it. She followed me, sobbing, "Please don't go. I'll do anything. I'll get pregnant for real." Those words chilled me more than anything. I zipped the bag, slung it over my shoulder, and whispered, "Goodbye, Ashley." She screamed after me, voice cracking, "You'll regret this. You'll see." But I just walked out. That night, I crashed at Mark's place on his pull-out couch. He handed me a beer, shook his head, and said, "Man, this is just the beginning. She's not done yet." I didn't know then how right he was. The next morning, I woke up on Mark's pull-out couch, to the sound of my phone buzzing non-stop. It was 7:06 a.m. on a Wednesday. 42 missed calls, 17 voicemails, all from Ashley. I didn't even bother listening to the voicemail. I just sat up, rubbed my eyes, and muttered, "This girl's gonna burn my life down if I'm not careful." Mark walked in with 2 mugs of coffee. He looked at me and said, "Bro, you're pale. Did you even sleep?" I shook my head. "Barely. She's not gonna stop." Right on cue, another text popped up. "If you tell your family, I'll tell them you hit me." My stomach dropped. I said out loud, "Oh my God, she's threatening false abuse claims now." Mark slammed his mug down. "Save it. Screenshot it. That's serious. You need a lawyer." I knew he was right. At 8:30 a.m., I called an attorney named Daniel Parker, who a friend from church had recommended months ago when I had a car insurance issue. Daniel was 38, calm, professional, and blunt. I explained everything: the fake pregnancy, the threats, the blackmail. He listened quietly, then said, "You did the right thing by keeping evidence. Don't confront her again in person. Don't respond emotionally. From now on, every communication needs to be documented. And if she makes any false report to police, we'll be ready to shut it down." I asked him, "What do I do in the meantime?" He said, "Move back home with your family, or stay with a friend. Don't live with her. She's escalating. Protect yourself." So I called my mom around 10:12 a.m. She answered on the second ring, cheerful at first. "Hey honey, what's going on? How's Ashley?" I went silent for a moment, then said, "Mom, I need to tell you something. Ashley lied about the pregnancy. She made it all up." There was a long pause. Then Mom whispered, "Oh my God." I could hear the disappointment in her voice, but not at me, at the situation. "Come home. Just come home, okay?" That night, I moved back into my old room at Mom's house. Ashley showed up at the driveway around 11 p.m., headlights blinding the windows, laying on the horn. Mom peeked through the blinds and said, "Don't go out there." But I stepped onto the porch anyway. Ashley was in her car, yelling through the open window, "You're making me look crazy. Come back home, Michael." I said calmly, "Ashley, you did that yourself. Leave me alone." She screamed back, "If you won't come back, I'll make sure nobody believes you. You'll be the one who looks insane. My mom had already dialed 9. By the time 2 officers arrived, Ashley had peeled out of the driveway. I gave the cops her threats, the screenshots, everything. They told me, save everything. If she trespasses again, call us immediately. The next day at work, around 2:46 p.m., my supervisor pulled me aside. Hey Mike, weird thing, we got an anonymous email accusing you of stealing from the warehouse. My stomach flipped. I said, that's not true. He nodded. I figured, but corporate has to investigate. Just a heads up. I instantly knew who was behind it. Ashley. That night I showed the email to Daniel, my attorney. He said, she's trying to ruin your job. Classic retaliation. Keep documenting. 2 nights later, Ashley sent me a long paragraph that started with, if you don't talk to me, I'll send those fake pregnancy tests to your mom and tell her you made me abort. I read that line 3 times, stunned. She was willing to invent an abortion story just to destroy my relationship with my mom. I texted back only one word, noted. Then I forwarded the whole message to Daniel. Over the next week, Ashley spiraled. She started messaging my sister Rachel on Facebook, claiming I'd cheated, that I was abusive, that I had gambling debts. Rachel called me, voice shaking. Mike, she's lying, right? I said, yes, I've never gambled a day in my life. Rachel replied, I figured, but she's blowing up everyone's inbox. That's when Daniel said, enough is enough. We're filing a protective order. So we did. On Monday morning, we went to Marion County Court. I stood there while Daniel laid out the evidence, screenshots of threats, fake ultrasound, blackmail texts. The judge, a stern woman named Judge Hernandez, looked at me and asked, do you fear for your safety? I said honestly, yes, Your Honor. She's threatening to destroy my life. The order was granted. Ashley was legally forbidden from contacting me, my family, or showing up at my work. For a few days, things were quiet. I almost started to breathe again, but then the final twist came. One evening, Mark called me around 9:27 p.m. Dude, check Instagram. Ashley just posted something wild. I opened the app. There it was, a picture of a baby ultrasound, captioned, so blessed. Can't wait to meet you, little one. Baby on board. Except I instantly recognized it. It was the same stock photo she'd sent me weeks earlier. Hundreds of likes, dozens of comments from her friends. Congrats, you'll be such a good mom. I couldn't believe it. She wasn't just lying to me anymore, she was lying to the whole world. The next morning, Ashley's cousin, who I barely knew, messaged me. Hey, I don't know what's going on, but Ashley's saying you abandoned her while she's pregnant. Just giving you a heads up. That was the final straw. I sent all of it, the Instagram post, the cousin's message, to Dan. He said, perfect. This proves a pattern of public fraud. She's digging her own grave. A week later, I got word through a mutual friend that Ashley had been fired from her job at a dental office. Apparently her boss caught wind of her pregnancy posts and asked for medical documentation for maternity planning. When she couldn't provide anything real, they let her go. Justice was finally catching up. By mid-spring, the drama had cooled down. Ashley moved out of the apartment completely. She tried one last stunt, sending a handwritten letter to my mom, claiming she'd miscarried because of my abandonment. But by then, nobody believed her. My mom just tossed the letter in a drawer and said, she needs help, not attention. I slowly rebuilt my life, got promoted to shift lead, started therapy to process the manipulation, even joined a softball league with Mark. Months later, I got an update from a mutual acquaintance. Ashley had left Indiana and moved to Kentucky. Rumor was she'd been caught catfishing another guy online, using the same fake ultrasound photo. At that point, I just shook my head. Some people never change. Looking back, I learned a hard truth. Manipulation always reveals itself eventually. No matter how carefully someone tries to spin a lie, reality catches up. The silver lining, my family became tighter than ever. My mom told me, Michael, I'm proud of you for walking away with dignity. And she was right. I never yelled, never hit back, never lost control. I just documented, protected myself, and let the truth do the work. The last time Ashley reached out was 3 months ago. A random text from an unknown number. Do you ever miss me? I blocked it without replying. Now almost a year later, I can finally say I'm at peace. I'm dating someone new. Jessica, 28. A nurse I met through Rachel's friend. She knows everything, and she appreciates honesty because of it. Sometimes at night I think about that moment, 7:42 p.m. on a Tuesday when Ashley screamed, I lied about the pregnancy. That was the worst night of my life, but also the beginning of getting free. P.S. If Ashley ever reads this, love doesn't look like lies, threats and fake sonograms. Love is honest. You taught me what to never accept again. Thanks everyone who followed this crazy story. Your advice kept me grounded through the worst of it. If you're ever in a situation where someone manipulates you this way, document everything, stay calm, and walk away. Truth wins eventually.